IIT Delhi. He has been associated with various government organizations and departments working on healthcare policy and services. He worked with National Health System Resources Center NHSRC, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India as an associate consultant and was instrumental in the laying down more than 5 health policies that the Government of India has implemented, including the biomedical equipment maintenance model, which has been implemented pan-India and the much talked about price capping of cardiac stents. He also worked with the government of Madhya Pradesh as equipment procurement specialist for the Department of Health. Apart from quality procurement, his biggest contribution was in increasing and institutionalizing transparency in the procurement system. He is presently working on a smart point of care diagnostic device for a quantitative urinary microprotein estimation, which was not possible till now at point of care with accuracy. This project has been awarded far and wide with more than 26 awards of state and national level with 3 huge grants from BIREC and Millennium Alliance, PICI, DST, USAID. He is an official on-board mentor, expert and evaluator with AICTE, Ministry of Education, Government of India on healthcare technology. He is a person dedicated to health, technology, research and development. Following his heart, he is traversing the uncharted lands of innovation and entrepreneurship with an aim to create affordable yet accurate medical devices here in India for the masses and the world. On behalf of Ramaiah Institute of Technology, a very warm welcome to Dr. Pankaj Parashar. And now I invite Dr. Pankaj to share his expertise on device designing and market and finding market fit with us all. A very warm welcome to Dr. Pankaj Parashar. You can share your screen.
Thank you, Dr. Sweetie, for this kind introduction, and Ramaiah Institute for having me here as an expert talking to you today. I'll first apologize that there is some technical issues because there have been heavy rains here, so we may have a poor internet connection. So apologies for that in advance. So I'm just, if you allow me, I'll just share my screen.
Yes, please.
So a very good morning to all of you, and thanks for having me here and giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you. So today's topic that I have been assigned is product design, its process, and finding a market fit. So the reason that we are here today is that now the governments have understood the importance of entrepreneurship. New technology creation does not only limit itself to research papers, prototypes, and what you call it as better, what you would say is limitation of research to labs. A research is of no use if it is not coming to the use of the people who are funding that research. So that is why the governments all across the world have understood the importance of entrepreneurship, and this entrepreneurship always depends upon something new. So that is why the scenario globally has been changing. The world has seen America grow from leaps and bounds after the new entrepreneurs came in the last 2 decades, when companies like Google, Facebook, WhatsApp, or Tesla, Apple, they all rose to higher levels in just 2 decades and made a huge contribution to the economy of the country and job opportunities being created for the global audience. So that is why when the government of India thinks and plans to make India a multi-trillion-dollar economy in the next couple of years, a few years, so the important role that has to be played is by entrepreneurship. We cannot become very rich by seeking jobs. There are very few who get very good salaries like Sundar Pichai or Satya Nadella. If we have to create wealth for ourselves, for the family, for the country, then entrepreneurship is the way to go ahead. Just look and have an example. Recently, there was an IPO for Zomato, and that company was valued at around 60 billion rupees, 60,000 crore. That is what is the value it creates when you have an entrepreneurship. Imagine if we had 10, 20 companies like Zomato and creating so many job opportunities, creating so much value for the country, for the investors. So that is what entrepreneurship can make differences. India also has moved towards entrepreneurship in the last 4, 5 years, 6 years very aggressively, and the government has become proactive supporting startup ecosystem. This is a huge change that we are meeting and talking today upon, where the the government wants, the institutions want that their students start companies, because this is a huge gap that we found out during the last few years, that India became more of a service economy where we provided trained manpower. Service economies don't flourish very much because it all depends upon your job providers. In the last American elections, not this one, the previous one when Mr. Donald Trump was elected, the main agenda was to bring back jobs to the US. The outsiders, the Indians, the Asians who were taking away the jobs of Americans, they had to be reduced so that more and more Americans could be employed. So this is what happens when you become more dependent upon a job seeking economy. China took over manufacturing in the last so many years and has become the global manufacturing hub. Everything, buy it, anything from a medical device to a safety pin to a MRI machine to even aircraft parts, they are all made in China. The reason being they have mastered the art of manufacturing at low costs. They maintain quality, they can maintain quality, as well as they can compromise heavily on quality. That is where they get beaten. So India has the entire opportunity to become a manufacturing hub that maintains quality. So we have a gap that can be fulfilled, and this government is very much proactive towards creating opportunities of manufacturing in India. That's why the Make in India movement that is going on, that helps for that. And globally, after this pandemic also, the world has started understanding the importance of being too much relying on manufacturing on China. So the Europe has started its China plus one policy, where they would retain China as the manufacturer, plus additionally they would also create another manufacturing hub for them, so that they can manufacture goods at a quality and at a price that is affordable. So with this, I would like to proceed further. This was just to show what opportunities we have and what is the importance of why we are sitting here and discussing all these things. So as you understand, entrepreneurship is a word that comes from a French word, means entreprendre, which means to undertake. It's any business or anything that you start and organize, manage, and take the risks of doing it. So that is what is entrepreneurship. Any business that you do is entrepreneurship. But when technology is added into entrepreneurship, that becomes a new word that has been coined, and that is technopreneurship. That means when technology and entrepreneurship are merged, that is, a new technology is used for entrepreneurship. Like all our new startups doing new tech things are all technopreneurs. When the word entrepreneur comes to your mind, there are so many faces nowadays so famous that flash in your mind. So these faces include from Thomas Alva Edison to our own Sachin Bansal to Sir Richard Branson to Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, our own Dhirubhai Ambani. So these entrepreneurs have been creating value for their people, for the world, and for their countries. They have been breaking the, what do you call it, as the paradigms or the norms of that time and creating value, because doing that extra for an over an ordinary thing, that is what creates value. Just like Sir Richard Branson flew to space and became the first billionaire to go to space in his own company developed spacecraft through their company called Virgin Galactic. Then Jeff Bezos flew to space. Elon Musk is already planning colonies in Mars, on Mars. So these are people who are breaking the paradigms of the time that things cannot be done or things that are being done are limited. These are the people who have been breaking the rules of, not in the negative sense, but in the positive sense. Zuckerberg created a whole new opportunity for the world in the form of Facebook. Dhirubhai Ambani created the first big empire of free India, that is Reliance Group. His son has created the digital revolution for India through Geo telecom services.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes,
I
yes.
think the slides are not moving.
Yeah, this slide have. So, do you see the pictures of the?
No, no, no. We are on the first slide
Oh,
only.
sorry. I'm just showing it again.
Yeah, yeah, you can check.
I'll just start again.
Yeah, sometimes when it is in full screen mode, no, it will get stuck. So
Yeah.
you can try.
So, is it visible
Yeah,
now?
that is fine. We
Yeah.
can go with this. Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
So nothing. There was nothing in that that you need to do. Thanks for that, Dr. Sweetie. Yeah. Now, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship, everyone describes as something doing new, or they're doing a new business or something. But what I describe as my personal experience through entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurship is a roller coaster ride, where you are at some points of time at the highest peak of ecstasy, to a level of ecstasy that you're crazily happy. On the other moment, you are in the abysmal depths of frustrations, failures, and negative comments from onlookers. So that is what is entrepreneurship. It's not for the faint-hearted. You need. It's not a thing that, okay, it's a part-time thing that I'm doing. Okay, I like doing this. It's not like a guitar that you learn to impress people around. It's a full-fledged hardcore work that you need to do and needs commitment and passion. So that is when your passion exceeds the level of being crazy, that is when entrepreneurship happens and succeeds. So now let's come back to a thing. We have talked about the importance of innovation and entrepreneurship. We have talked about entrepreneurship as well. So, what do you need to become an entrepreneur apart from all the things that you need, like character, passion, and everything? What you need is a product. What do you see here? This is an iPhone. What do you see here? There are various products of Google, like Google Chrome, YouTube, Gmail, Google Maps, Google Drive, and Android, and many more. So, what is this? This is Pride of India, the BrahMos missile. What is this?
Excuse me, doctor. I
Still
think.
not visible?
Yeah, sir. We are on the third slide.
Oh, I don't know why it isn't. Just let me
Maybe
give.
you can turn off your video if
Okay, I'll do
network
that.
is
I'll
not.
do that. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
Now, do you see that? Hello?
No, I can't see actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you see it now? Can you see it now?
If yes, we can see.
Do you see the Amul butter?
Yes, yes, we are on the eighth slide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Now, can you see it? Still there?
yeah, it is still
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Maybe
So,
you can just scroll. I'll just see if
yeah,
it is.
please let me know when it is not moving with the flow. Okay.
Okay, okay,
Now,
fine.
what you see is a packaged drinking water, and what you see here is the Bugatti Chiron. What is common among all these things when you see? These are all products from various companies being offered. Google's Gmail, Google search engine, to Bugatti Chiron, to butter and water. These are all products. These have been the company's face towards the world. So what is a product? It's an article or a substance that is
Sorry, doctor, again, but
still
it's
it is not
not
there.
moving. Maybe if it is possible, you can mail it to me, and
I'll
if
mail it to you just now.
some
Okay, okay,
network problem
okay.
is there.
Yeah, just doing it. Apologies for this disturbance. Dr. Sweetie, I've sent it to you. If you could play that, that would be helpful. I've sent you in
Okay.
the email.
Yeah. Okay, I'll check. msit.edu is correct,
Yes, yes,
doctor? Yeah.
yes.
Okay, I'll check. Yeah. Uh, is it
Yes,
visible?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, if it is not moving, I think Dr. Pankaj, you can tell me in between.
Yeah, it's moving. Yeah, you
Okay.
can move to the next one. Next, please. Next. Yes, yes. More, more. Yes, you can wait here. So what you see here is an article or a substance that has been manufactured or refined for sale. It can also be a person or a non-tangible product. What you see here in the previous slides was you saw a car, you saw a bottle of water, you saw a phone, you also saw the Google products. So all the other products were tangible. That means you could touch them, whereas the Google products were intangible. That is, you cannot touch them. So products could be anything, either tangible or non-tangible. Even for example, the policies being sold by the insurance companies, the loans provided, and the other products from banks, they're all products. So when a product level comes to a level where it has been refined, thoughtful processes have gone into that production, that is when it becomes a product. Human resource is also a product. People call themselves, I'm a product of XYZ institute. Your Dr. Sweetie is a product of IIT Delhi. So that is how you can, because institutes put in efforts to improve the manpower from a non-trained to a trained human resource. So that is why the human beings also become products from institutes, and that's how they could be called that way. Next, please. Here are two things. This one is a prototype and the other is a product. You can see a clear difference. The prototype is just a handmade or not necessarily always handmade, but yeah, it is a crude way of presenting something, whereas a product is a refined thing which looks good, appeals, and has multiple things gone into a development. So this is what our product is. So we'll talk about it later. Can you go to the next slide, please? So what is peculiarity of a product? It's tangible or intangible, as we said. Serious intentional efforts have been put into the to make the outcome of that sustained continuous events, and iterations are there so that it's an improved product from time to time. And it's most often sustained. That means at least when you pass out from an institute, you would be this much qualified that you would be able to do this work or the other work. So this is how the products, when coming out of a unit which produces them, have to be sustained in quality, and they are most of the times face of the company. Then for every product to be developed, a design is very important, because the ultimate goal is to find a market fit. It should be good looking, it should be attractive, it should be useful, it should be utilitarian. All those things have to be there. So that is what design does. So what is design? To decide upon how the product is going to look, the building is going to look, or a fabric is going to look. Anything, a garment, building, product, or anything, that how it is going to look depends upon its design. It starts with sketches. The easiest way of communicating your design with the other team members is sketching. The first thing you do is sketch. Buildings are always sketched. Automotive parts, products, industrial products, everything starts with a sketch. Say, for example, I'm talking to all of you. Say, for example, we belong to a team that is developing a new product for any market. So how would I be communicating if I have to transfer the knowledge that I have about the product to a team? So that would be going through is designs, sketching. So I may not be very good at sketching, but yeah, I can still communicate. Yeah, this is how the body would look. These are the parts which it would be going with, and this is how it would be functioning. So that is what is design. So yeah, so these are the aspects of design. There are form, functions, and human. Form means how the design looks, how the article looks like. Function means how does it function in the in the environment. That how, say for example, let's take an example of a phone. Previously, there were phones which used to be opened up like a flap. Then there were phones which looked like bar. And now we all have phones which look like simple flat tablets. So these are the forms of the phone which have evolved over the time. Functions of the phone have been increasing since long. They have more and more features being added so that they become more and more usable. So the ultimate aim is to make it usable for the end users. So that is how the product function has been improving. And above all these things are humans. How the human uses the phone. Because all over the world, mostly the phone would be used in a single way that it is being used. There would be no other way of using that. So that is why human form and functions are very important aspects of design, and they interact among each other. You see that there is overlapping. When form and function, how the device would look and how it would be functioning interacts, that is what is industrial designing. Industrial design means how the product looks like, how the nuts and bolts, screws, caps, cabinets, and components of the design would be going into match with the functions of the device. Then go to the previous slide, please. Yeah, then form and humans. When form and human, that is how the human would be using the device physically, is where communication design works. Like the phones are, like the phone we have is as broad as our palm, so that our thumb could do the typing work on the screen. Similarly, if you use an 8-inch tablet or a 10-inch tablet, you are not able to use your thumb. You have to use your entire hand. That makes your typing slow and less efficient. So that is how the communication design changes from a phone to a tablet. So that has an important aspect of design communication. And the most important aspect, previous slide please, yeah. And the most important aspect is when humans interact with function. That is where design thinking comes into place. Design thinking is now a super specialization in design engineering, where this important communication factor how the functions of the device are going to interact with the human, and how is the human going to interact with the design function. That is what is going to decide the usability, ergonomics, utility of the product. That is why design thinking has now become a specialization course and decides a lot of features of the product. Because previously, design thinking, when it was not given in that importance, the phones became complicated. If you remember, there was a phone called as I'm just not from Nokia, which was just like a laptop computer, a small screen open with minute keys on the keyboard. That key phone was very difficult to operate because the fingers are larger, fingertips are larger than two keys of that phone. So that became very difficult to type on that phone. So design thinking aspects were not properly taken into consideration. So that is how design aspects, yeah, that was Nokia communicator. So that is where design thinking has now started being given a lot of importance. Now let's go to the next slide, please. So importance of design. So we need to understand the importance of design, why it is important, because it has to be, it is how your product would be developed, because your designing would make the product develop into from concept to a product. So it should have utility, it should have peculiarity, it should be a distinguishing feature. Beyond peculiarity, it should be totally distinguishable in the market, because your ultimate aim is to get success in the market. Getting success in the market means getting more and more of your products being sold. Then ergonomics, it should be comfortable. Ergonomics, we'll talk about all these aspects. Safety, it should be safe to use, and all the end users should be safe while using it. Then unique selling proposition, that it must be differentiator, that some features should be totally different and should be so important that it becomes a leader in the market. Part of the marketing strategy, the design also decides your part of marketing strategy and aligns with the company motto. Can you go to the next slide, please? Say, for example, what you see here is, can you make it a full slide, please? Presentation mode. So what you see here is a motorcycle, a motorized motorcycle, where a single wheel driven vehicle is being designed. What you see is either a large wheel in which the engine and a seat and a rider is being seated, or a motorcycle sort of a design that has a single wheel to sit upon and do. So this does solve the purpose of transportation, but is it still utilitarian? Would anyone use it for a regular commute? The answer would be no. Just for a fancy dress or something like a fancy exhibition, this product could be a thing of the need. But for a daily commuting, it's not a suitable thing, because the design may be good, but it's not fulfilling the criteria of being utilitarian. The design does not ensure utility of the product. That's why it loses on that. Next, please. Yeah. So what you see here is a stapler pin remover. This is a common stationery item costing 20-30 rupees. It's a simple product that most offices use for removing stapler pins. So what is peculiar in this? Nothing. There are so many companies making it that way. Could you go to the next one? And this is the same thing with a differently designed head of a crocodile. It solves the same purpose, but it becomes peculiar. And if I'm being shown, and when I go to buy a stapler pin remover, the previous one is costing 30 rupees and this is costing 100 rupees. I'm going to buy the one with this crocodile head, because it looks good. It looks distinguished in the market. So that is what the role of design has, to make your product make it peculiar from being generic. And then you can command higher returns, more revenues, and that's what the importance of designing is. Next, please. So what you see here is a conventional keyboard with people who are in this the job of software engineering and all those people in the IT who need a lot to spend a lot of time on computers understand the pain and the risks that they have many a times, because these are not convenient enough to use for longer durations, because they are not anatomically designed. That means the designing has not been done in a way of anatomy of the body. So what to do next, please? This is a split keyboard that is ergonomically designed. So this gives the angle of the wrist a comfortable place so that it does not cause the pain and stress and strain in the wrist joint. So this is what designing can do from a conventional keyboard to a ergonomically designed keyboard. Being successful or not successful because of this is a different aspect, but there might be some lacunae or shortcomings which created this product to not become that popular like a conventional keyboard. But yeah, this is more comfortable and more friendly for the end users. Next, please. What you see here is a balcony with small pots placed over with plants. It looks beautiful. It's good for the small houses that live in flats and apartments. But the problem with these pots is that in high-rise buildings, they are not allowed to be used on the windowsills or the balcony railings, because if they fall from height, they can cause serious damage to people down under. So what to do? Next, please. This is a design change in the pot where this could fit your windowsill or your balcony railing and still be safe, so that people could enjoy their beauty with these pots placed around and still stay safe down. People in the lower parts of the building can still be safe. This is how design can make safety as an aspect into this. Next, please. What you see here, two bikes, both are red, both solve the same purpose of commuting, both are comfortable, both are good to use. But which would be preferred more by the target audience? The lower one, because it's better designed, looks beautiful, elegant, and its design itself speaks that it's made for speed. It's not a regular commuter bike, it's a racer bike. So that is what is the unique selling proposition of the product is. Both the products do the same thing, but the design has made it shout that it's made for speed, made for performance, maybe a hyper bike. So this is what designing can make a product from a normal product to a unique selling proposition added to that. Next, please. Aligns with the company motto. These are two red cars which are designed for commuting. Two-seat passenger seats are there, but one aligns with the company motto that built for speed and high performance. The car in the right bottom corner, that's Ferrari, is shouting at its capacity that it's made for speed, performance, and all those things, instead of the car in the top left corner, because that is what the designing has done. The company puts a lot of efforts and billions of dollars in designing a product like the Ferrari, and that is when it becomes the unique selling proposition and aligns with the company motto. This is what is designing does to the product development cycle. Next, please. So how do we proceed for this product development and design cycle? First, always there is ideation and sketch. After you make an idea, a sketch, then what you do is, it's among the team members that it becomes a design proposal. Say, for example, I'm proposing a new product. Say, for example, a new car being designed, or your department is medical electronics. So let's go for a new medical electronic device. So what I'll do is a sketch Yeah, I sit with the faculty members who are experts. Okay, this is what I want to do. This is how the device is probably going to look like as a first design sketch, and then it becomes a design proposal. So say if I visit your institute and ask for the technical support, then your institute member, your department would ask me for a design proposal. Okay, what do you want in that? Okay, this would become the technical aspect, this would become the user interface aspect, and this is how the power management system would be, this is how the safety would be done, and this is how the device packaging would be going. So this is all that is a design proposal. Then after that, there would be a brainstorming that whether it is feasible or not. I'm thinking of making a portable machine that could be fitting in a pocket. That's a great thing. It could be a great change in the medical diagnostics probably. But do we have to make a feasibility analysis? That is it possible to make a small MRI machine that fits into the pockets? Just a minute, there is some disturbance. I'll just get back in a minute. Sorry. So a feasibility analysis is done when to check whether do we have the capacity to do it, do we have the budgets to do it, do we have the technical skills to do it. So the technical skills required for a MRI machine is you need a lot of image processing people, you need a lot of people who can work on magnetics, you need a lot of people who can do a product designing. So do we have all those people? Yeah, but do we have that magnetic field strength possible at a small level powered by a battery? So that becomes a constraint. So that is when your design iteration process changes. So that is what is a feasibility analysis does. Then, okay, once it is possible, if it is possible, say for example, for some any other product, then it goes for prototype development. We make prototypes, what multiple prototypes, how it looks outside from the body parts, how it look, how would the internal components be doing, how would the features be added into that. So that is all prototyping. Then feedback. Once the prototype is being made, it has to be shown to many people, so that who could be future stakeholders and your customers, so that you get a feedback out of that, and then it's finalized into a product design roadmap. Okay, this goes well. So now the product development cycle from a proof of concept to a prototype has been done. Now for product designing, these are the future aspects which need to be taken care. So this is how the process goes on. So how do we start with this? Let's discuss in some details about that. Go to the next slide, please. So the sketches, the first part is sketches. You share your idea in the form of sketches. What you see here is a bottle with a handle loop to carry. This is mostly the sports water bottles. So there are various aspects how the loop for the for holding it has been placed. Some have been placed on the top, some on the sides, some on the square shape, some in the form of a triangle or something like that. So that has all been depicted well in the sketches part. You can see a beard trimmer and even a watch design. So these are all how you communicate with your team after proper thought process has gone into that. So that is how sketches help in communicating with the team about the idea. Next, please. And next slide, please. Yeah. Then it becomes a design proposal. The design proposal, you make a project design, then portfolio management. If you look at a company's portfolio at a company's perspective, we have portfolio management. Like say, for example, my company is into medical devices. So someone comes with a solar food dryer. That's a great product, would be a great market fit, but it does not match to our product portfolio. So my team would, if even though I want to make that, but my team would say, no, this is not a good idea. we should stick to our core competency of medical devices. So that's how the portfolio management and design proposal gets cancelled at this point of time only, or could go ahead with that. Then the project management aspects are taken into that, how it would be proceeding. Okay, this is what we'll be needing. We need expertise in electronics, we need expertise in telecom, we need expertise in fabrication, we need expertise in do we need to make our own chip or we need to outsource it. So these are all things that we need to develop at a project management level. Then after that, if these things are feasible, then it goes into desirable or actual things, that whether it is desirable for company to venture into this, or actually we are already into that field, so it is good to go ahead with that. So this is how a brainstorming session goes with the board of those who decide or make the policies for the company. That is how the things proceed further. And this applies to each and everything. Say, for example, your institute wants to start a new course, say for healthcare entrepreneurship, medical electronics entrepreneurship. So that's a new hyper specialized course. So do we need to have this course? Do we have the expertise? Do we, okay, if we do not have an in-house expertise, do we have the experts who could take this course? Do we have something that could benefit? How would the students be benefited out of the course? So these are all the aspects which are thought processed, done. And finally, it goes to the finance department of your institute, that do we have the budget for all those things? So this is how the things are taken forward. Next, please. So if we take it on a startup's point of view, everything comes down to budget. Do we have the budget to do that? Does it look appealing? Do we have the design capabilities of what Apple and other companies have? Do we have the practicality? Can we attain the practicality that these big companies have? Is it even feasible for us to do that? So this is what all things boil down to during a design proposal discussion. And this is basically done at a point when you have to take care of a new product development entirely from scratch. Next, please. Then feasibility analysis. The feasibility analysis is done so that to just attain whether it is doable by within our limits of budget, expertise, manpower, time, and the limitations, all the other limitations that we have. Because some things are feasible in some places and the other are not. So that is why we need to do a lot of feasibility analysis. So this is mostly an in-house process where the experts and the key deciding people in the team take the decisions and move forward. Once the product development cycle crosses the feasibility part, then it is good to go. Then comes the part of prototyping. Next, please. Prototyping. So what do you do? How do you make prototypes? The best in the most cost-effective ways: sketching, better drawings, like what we saw for those the electric kettle, the shaver, the watch, or the bottle for the sports water bottles. So these were better designs, a beautiful looking design. Cars are made starting from sketches. Then sketches are made into computer aided modeling. That is the next one. Then after CAD, we also have modeling with clay. Like cars are made out of clay. The first models are made out of clay, modeling clay. Metal is also used, or wood could be used. Then we have cardboard, sunboard, and other particle boards which are could be used for prototyping. Ready-made materials are available, like electronics, like you know that there are ready-made available boards, evaluation boards, development boards available, like Arduino, the most common one, or the Raspberry Pi, which gives you an entire level of freedom to do all those processing part, where you don't have to work upon making your own development board. So these are all products that could help you in processes that you can help in making prototypes. Then comes the rapid prototyping of your form, how the device would look like. Previously, it was very difficult because a single mold of the device could not be made, and how the device or the product would look in your hands, the feel part, the 3D look part was missing. So now we have the technology called as rapid prototyping. Most of you might be knowing about this. So what this is, I'll just talk about it in a couple of slides, please. Next slide. So what you see here is the most common thing that goes for rapid prototyping that I've been loving is, this is a skull of a dinosaur, design a sketch of a dinosaur skull. Next, please. So how would it look like in 3D? This is how it would look like. So this is the best we can do, is go to a computer aided designing and make it into a 3D model using various softwares, and have that 3D perception of the product, how it could look like. But it doesn't, still lacks a lot on the part of feel, look, texture, haptic response. So these are all things which are lacking in this computer aided design. So what we need is 3D printing. Next, please. So this is a plastic 3D print design of that same skull, which has been made out of fused material deposition technology, where conventional 3D printers, which use plastic filament, melt it and deposit it on the various surfaces. That's how the prototyping is done with rapid prototypes. Next, please. These are various 3D printers. Now 3D printers cost less than your normal paper printer. They start from anywhere between 10,000-15,000 rupees. So many of you can afford it, or at least your institutes can at least afford it for you if you have your design labs or your prototyping labs. So now even the latest technology is in laser and resin technology, where lasers solidify resins when they are exposed to, and then that's how they make the prototypes faster. So that is one thing. Next, please. Feedback after prototyping is very important. Show your product to your customers, future customers, probable customers, your well-wishers and friends who could give you feedback. How does it look like and how does it feel like, so that you can get a glimpse whether it's going to go good with the market or not. This helps you to improve your product. Very useful, but don't get discouraged. Many a times it could be discouraging as well, because it's not many a times people's intention to put you down with that, but sometimes you may feel that they are trying to put you down. So always take the feedback in a positive note. Next, please. So these are all the efforts to try to make a market fit. So what is basically a market fit? Basic aim of any entrepreneurship is to earn money in the market. Money in the market comes from the customers, the pockets of the customers, through which the customers pay and buy your product, use your product, or subscribe your product. That's how you get money out of that. So for that, you have to have a market fit. Next, please. So that helps, that needs to understand the market need, that what is needed in the market. Then the customer must, the product must fit to the end user's needs. The feedback is very important for a good market fit understanding. Continuous innovation should be there, and the timing of the product must be right, because this is very important. Let's go to each and every point of these. Again, utility. If a product, utility. A product should be utilitarian to be a market fit. These two motorcycles are not market fit, because though they look good, they may attract all the eyes on the road, but they are not a utility product. They are misfit in the market. That's why they are not going to get into a product level development. Next, please. Complexity and feedback. If you remember, after we had this product called as Windows Vista, this was one of the most unsuccessful products from Windows in the last few years. This is because this product was not, it was very complex in comparison to the previous versions. Then it had a poor feedback mechanism. They did not work upon the feedback part and designed as per the engineer's wish. So this was a failure. Next, please. Staying ahead requires continuous innovation. One of the classic examples of a perfect market fit product being thrown out of the market in just a small span of 2 to 3 years is Nokia. Nokia was one of the market leaders. They had the largest share in the market of basic feature phones. When suddenly the world started moving towards smartphone, Nokia still insisted on their own old technology of Symbian as an operating system. And the world did not accept that. And they were very fast thrown out of the ecosystem. They wanted to make smartphone. They tied up with Windows, where Windows was itself struggling to get a market share, and then a phone coming with again another struggling product is doomed to fail. So that is why you need to be continuously innovating. Next, please. Timing of a product is very important, because if the timing of the product, either it is too early, it's not going to succeed, or if it's too late, it's not going to succeed either. Just look at this. This is Google Glass. Google Glass was introduced 5 to 6 years ago, that is 2015-16 somewhere, when it was an entire computer built in your spectacle frame, and this was pretty ahead of its time. Even Google could not afford making it successful. That is what is importance of timing is for market fit. Next, please. Aspirations are very important for a market, because the people who are going to buy a product need the product to fulfill not only their needs but also their aspirations. Like, one of the product that is successfully fulfilling aspirations is an Apple phone. Apple phones are mostly sold, no doubt they have excellent quality, excellent everything, but the biggest thing is, oh, it's an iPhone. That statement, oh, it's an iPhone, that is what aspirations mean. So here in Nano, this was an excellent car, even better performing than many low segment cars, even then better than the most of the successful cars like Alto or Maruti 800. But why did it fail, and failed miserably? Because it was tagged as a lakh takiya car, 1 lakh rupees car. This car never came for 1 lakh rupees, but it was always sold as a 1 lakh rupee car. If it would have been sold as a small, pretty family car or a cute family car, it would have been a success. But putting a lakh rupee tag when you sold the top end version of this Nano Twist automatic for 4 lakh rupees, then how would that match? I'm paying more, but still on the road I'm being seen as a nano driver. So that is when cars are not only meant for aspiration, transportation. They fulfill our aspirations to show off, our aspirations to have a better life. Your car shouts that you have a better life than other, because the costlier the car, the better, the more richer you are thought to be. Maybe your car is on loan or on installments, it doesn't make a difference. So that is why this car did not fulfill the aspirations of the people to own a car. Though it was targeted for the small families and the small middle class families who just needed a small car. Imagine if we had more Tata Nanos than the larger cars. The petrol requirements would be lesser. The fuel consumption the pollutions would be lesser. The roads would be less crowded, because this was a small car, needed less space. And still 4 people could travel conveniently and comfortably in the car. So this is why attaching wrong aspirations with the product make it a failure. Next, please. So based on all these things, they look like a theoretical aspect, but these are the things which I, as an entrepreneur and an innovator, learned in my way of this entrepreneurship journey. I learned it the hard way. So I would be sharing all these aspects, what we have talked about, in short, in this next, giving a real life example of my own innovation and entrepreneurship journey. So just a minute. Yeah. So next slide, please. So this is my company, Cutting Edge Medical Devices Private Limited. We started our journey from IIT Delhi incubator, and we are developing a medical device which is a need of many people. There's a huge gap that our product fulfills, and with that we are able to address to the needs of the large populations. Next please. The problem statement that we address to our product is that more than 31.7 crore Indians are vulnerable to kidney damage due to various conditions like diabetes, hypertension, and other conditions. And they all are not able to detect the condition early and hence lead up to a chronic kidney disease. This entire thing developed, this entire motivation came from my family. When my sister was pregnant and she asked me, she was asked by her doctor to do a regular protein test in her urine in her last trimester, because that becomes the condition that she was suffering, pregnancy-induced hypertension, becomes the leading cause of maternal morbidity and mortality across the world. So in that case, if we were able to identify proteins in urine early, this could make a life-changing, a life-threatening situation be managed properly. So the doctors advise that test regularly. So she was also advised. She asked me, "Bhaiya, bar sample bhejna padta hai lab. The sample has to be sent to the labs regularly. Do we have something that could be testing at so that we can do the testing at home?" And unfortunately, I did not have a reliable answer to give it to her. So that's when I identified that this is a huge problem. And not only this, there are other conditions as well which threaten the kidneys. And this was a huge opportunity which I saw. Next, please. And this is an appropriate solution that we provided. It's in the form of Simtiglo. It's a portable point-of-care diagnostic device for early detection of kidney diseases in patients with diabetes and hypertension. And it also helps to identify high-risk pregnancies. With a simple urine test, because the device is portable, it could be carried anywhere. It's a battery-operated device, unlike the other devices which run on the wall 220-volt electricity. So this was the most appropriate solution which we find right now in the market. It has all the features of a market fit, and that's how this product is now got into the market after 6 years of research, development, and hard work. What are the USPs? Next, please. It's a first-of-a-kind device, as accurate as an autoanalyzer, almost instant. The autoanalyzer takes 1 hour to 2.5 hours to get the results, whereas our device gets just 2 to 3 seconds with the same accuracy. It's not a strip-based device unlike others, and it has a data generating capacity. That means it generates high-quality healthcare data, and you all people are living in this world where the world is going crazy about data. So that's what it is. And the best part is it does this thing at a fraction of a cost of what the test is being done at the present. Next, please. So this is where this started. This entire process started from this cardboard box. It was a proof of concept that I made. Still remember the date, 4th January 2013. When the prototype, this was not even a prototype, this was a proof of concept that if this was worked this way, would it work? And when this worked, things started unfolding. Then next, we started a company, got incubation, got funding from the government of India through their Department of Biotechnology. They have a body called as BIRAC, so which funded our project. We got grants for that and started our journey. Next, please. So these were the next versions of the prototype. After the sketching on all the feasibility analysis, when we started moving, these were the prototypes. We were using initially the ready-made boards and certain small boards that we made, and the cardboard boxes were made for the holding all those components in place. And that's how the things worked as a initial proof of concept to prototype. Next, please. Still more features added, and this was the next version of the prototype. Next, please. Next, further improved version. Next, please. You see a gradual change in every product, in every stage of the prototype. Yeah, this one is the penultimate prototype, which worked well. And this was pretty much what we were planning to bring as a final product in the market. And there were two versions. This is a basic version, and the next one, please. This one was with a thermal printer on inbuilt, so that the printed reports could also be generated immediately. So this was very much, it was good looking to me and the entire team. But what we got as a feedback was, oh wow, this looks like a point of sale machine, that card swiping machine. And that's what pinched me and my team. We are not working to make another card swiping machine sort of thing. We need to make it different. Though this was also pretty different as a medical device, but yeah, we needed still some more things to do. So if we would have been a funded startup or a very rich startup or another company, we would hire a product designer to do that, who could do the industrial design, communication design, and the design thinking aspects and theories of those, and make it a good looking product for us. So what we did was, we didn't have that money. So we did it on our own. And next, please. This is the final product that comes out of that. So we designed it entirely, sketching, communicating to the designers, making the vacuum forming things, and all those things based on what we could design. And this is our final product that goes into the market after all the quality and regulatory certifications. We are the first company in the state of Madhya Pradesh to have an in vitro diagnostic manufacturing license from the government of India and the state government. So that is what we have created, and gradually when it grows value for us, for our city, for our state, and for our country. Along with that, serving the humanity. Next, please. Thank you very much for your time and patient listening. I'd be very happy if there is an opportunity, if there are any questions which you would like to discuss, or any other aspects that you would like to know about.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Pankaj Parashar. Participants can ask their questions. They can unmute the mic and they can ask the questions, or they can write it in the chat box. But first question I would like to put Dr. Pankaj Parashar.
Yes, madam.
It's not just the question. Actually, like most of the students, they will have great ideas, but
Mm-hmm.
they will hesitate to go forward with it. Like when they start project, they will have very nice ideas, but they really hesitate, like how to go forward. Like nowadays, this startup and this thing, it's quite fancy, right? Everybody wants to do it, but everybody can't do it. Right.
Yes.
So, would you like to share your personal experience when you started this journey? Like you had some idea and you started your journey, and if you can share something about that.
Sure. It's a very correct question that you have asked, madam. It's very correct. And in terms of a student startup, it's even more relevant and pertinent. Students have, so let me tell you, we are 1.3 billion people, and every person on an average gets thousands of ideas every day. So we have billions and billions of ideas worth even thinking of every day. So how do you communicate that? So the important aspect of any concept is that you should be very much confident about that. I remember my own journey when I conceived this project very early in my early days. I went and talked to my professor and my mentors as well. So that is when you still need to get hold of a lot of confidence in yourself, that what you are doing is strongly correct, and what you plan to do is equally important and relevant. You have to have that confidence in you. You have to understand it's not just a thought came to me in the night or early morning or sometimes. You need to work upon that thought even before you talk to someone, because because you need to get a lot of confidence on yourself. Say for example, when I developed this conceived this, when I found out this need during my sister's pregnancy, fortunately for her it was a favorable outcome. She was safe and her daughter was safe as well. But I needed to learn a lot, that do we really have something there, or is it really a gap over there? Because if this information had been wrong, that I found out nothing was there and there were actually market flooded with products, so it would not have been a good bet. So you need to work sincerely for that, and it's not only a few days or a few months. If you see, the 4th of January 2013 is when I had the proof of concept, and November 2014 is when my company started, and February 2015 is when my incubation for the project started. So this is what perseverance and commitment towards the project I had, because everyone wants to see, okay, I'll put my money, I'll support you as much as you want, but I need to see how strongly you are up to that. Because as I told you, this is a roller coaster ride. It's very hard hitting on every part of your personality, maybe your mind, your confidence, your physical body, everything. It hits hard on that. So how strong are you with that project, holding that against all odds? People would say no to this. Yeah, this is not a good thing to go ahead. No one is going to buy this. No one is going to support you for this. That's when you need to stand along with that. And let me tell you one thing, there is no bad idea. There is no bad idea, only a bad execution. I'll just give you an example. There is a large car rental taxi services example at the Ola. Ola is not a new concept. Ola is just what you can say is a copy product from Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, and these all are products which are looking like other products. So ideas were not new. The execution was brilliant. Ola started when Uber just got into India. So Uber was growing, Ola also got an opportunity to grow. And that's when Ola started growing faster because of their better India suited technology and better understanding of the market, Indian market. And that's how Ola became a market leader. Then continuous innovation, when now in this pandemic, last 1.5 years, almost these businesses have gone down drastically. So Ola again thought of a new thing, electric mobility. That is the new tomorrow thing. So they started developing all those new aspects of two-wheelers, electric scooters. Ola have brought that. And this is what execution is very important for any idea. Students need to love their idea beyond doubts and beyond the naysayers, that is no sayers who would keep on saying no to this. But you need to stand against all the odds and keep working on this. This is the only way. Like if you listen to these successful entrepreneurs journey, they are pretty similar. You can hear, you might be thinking what I'm saying is pretty much redundant of any other entrepreneur. You talk about Jack Ma or Elon Musk or any, they all face same problems. Tesla Motors, why would someone buy electric cars? Why would someone go to space? That's what Elon Musk might have heard many times. But still they kept on working on that. So that is what the perseverance and a better execution of the idea makes. Tesla was not the first electric car. Electric cars are more older than the petrol and diesel cars. But the way of execution of making Tesla was way ahead of its time. So that is what it makes the car, a technology or a startup successful. Yes, any
Sir,
question?
yeah, there is one question from Husna. What made you keep going, and were there any breaks in this process?
Well, what makes me going? I don't know. There is a crazy level of passion in me. And see, once you are attached to a purpose, see, never go for money, never go for fame, never go for what you call it as all these materialistic things. All these entrepreneurship things are divine. I take it as a level of divinity. If you are totally connected with that divine spirit or divine thought, that drives you, that needs crazy perseverance, crazy level of commitment. But after that, money, fame, reputation, power, everything is a byproduct of that. So Just a crazy perseverance, crazy passion is what drives you. Were there any breaks? This was not my first venture. My previous venture was when I was yet a student at a medical school. I founded my own first company with my own funds that I raised from taking tuitions for juniors and other college students. Being a medical student, I used to take classes for them, and I funded my own company. And that company was developing a way ahead product, a multi-para monitor that could do a remote patient monitoring in the times when there was no wireless internet connectivity. I'm talking about 2005-6, when most of you students were very young. So that was when my first company was doing. We were way ahead of its time. We didn't have the technological support, we didn't have the financial support, we didn't have the ecosystem support. Like your teachers and professors are finding out people who would encourage you to get into entrepreneurship. At that point of time, it was not even heard of. So that was a huge challenging time, but we still were able to, me and my team was able to transmit ECG in the form of SMS, and then develop that waveform from that SMS into a waveform. So that was what we were able to achieve in 2010s and 2009, when we were working on that. So that was a pretty discouraging time. Then when I thought that what went wrong in the first venture, so all those weaknesses were turned into strength. I got into a better place, better opportunities were there, favorable conditions started getting over, and then that's how the process started. So yeah, that's how the things went.
Uh, is there any other question if participants would like to ask? Yeah. So, yeah, ma'am, you can ask.
Uh, Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Sir, I had a point. Like now, as Sweetie ma'am said, students will have lots of idea, and we do come up with some good projects. But what do we see with educational institution is all the products will end at a prototype only. Is
Mm-hmm.
there a way to translate it in a better way and then get into the market? Like how well is the connectivity with the company? How well a company can accept our concepts, sir,
It's a
and take it as
pretty
a product?
pertinent question, ma'am. Ma'am, if you ask me to be very frank on this, so many projects, very well said, they would end up as a institutional project done by a student to complete his or her thesis of master's or PhD thesis or anything else. So let me be very clear. At this point of time, the idea is worth nothing. I'm very sorry to say that. It is my journey which I understood that the technology part just carries 5 to 10% initially. Then prototype to a final prototype carries next 15 to 20%. That is 30-35% is maximum. What the technology component of the entrepreneurship as a product that you see in the market has. Rest 60-65% comes as perseverance in the form of product development, certifications, entrepreneurship, and all those things. So for that, that's a very nice question. If your students and your faculty develop something that has a potential for the future, as you are an AICTE recognized body, so there are a lot of opportunities that AICTE creates. That is, they have their hackathons and various year-long competitions that go on, so that the students can keep on converting that innovations into entrepreneurship. Then you can tie up with industry seasoned mentors. See, your technology may be very dear to you, but it may not impress me to a level that I could invest money in that. I could put my time and efforts into that. So if your students think that they have something really good, they need to take it on their own. Like, I'll give you an example, my own thing. When I developed this proof of concept, I went to my professor and discussed with her that how do I take it forward? I was at IIT Delhi. My professor said that this is good that you are doing something, but this needs a lot of things which are beyond the control and the capacities of this department. She was very uh, I would say I was thankful for her to her that she clearly said that and suggested me to go to the innovations and entrepreneurship cell at IIT Delhi, that we call it as Foundation for Innovation and Technology Transfer. And that's when things started moving in that way. I was already motivated on my own, and this helped me take the right path. So your institute's incubator or innovation ecosystem can make the difference. Tie up with people who could be mentors. Probably I may not take interest in the technology, or anyone else may not take interest in the technology, but can onboard as mentors. Like if your students want to create something, such sessions or problem solving sessions by experts could help them go through their journey. And educational institutes can further help students by investing some money into their company and helping them make that company more successful by providing better opportunities. So that is what is you can do at institutional level.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any question?
I think there are a few questions in the chat box.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can read it for you. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, Dr. Prabha Ravi. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. It was a wonderful way in which you have put on how the idea, what you have in your mind, how to work on it and how to take it to each level. Of course, the journey of an entrepreneurship is not it's not an easy path. We do have a lot of, I wouldn't say obstacles, challenges which we face, which we need to look forward. My only thing is, I think at this point, we as academic institute who are also into research are very in a very nice environment where we can mentor our students and sort of motivate them towards how best the idea can be looked into towards maybe the patent part of it, or the institute can probably facilitate and initiate the way in which we can look for a pre-incubation and
Yes.
mentorship, holding hands a little bit, and seeing the viability, commercial viability, and then take it further. That was, now I think the student community need to reach out. We
Yes.
do, of course, have entrepreneur development cell in our institute. So, there should be a communication and a constant touch between the working community who work with projects and the innovation cell, based on which we can make things work. Thank you very much for your
Absolutely.
wonderful
Absolutely.
Insight into how this could be faced and this could be taken.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Very
so there,
correctly said, ma'am. Very correctly said. Students need to reach out to you, because it's not that you keep on provoking them to. It's not an examination that they have to appear for. This is what they dream of doing, and your
Ah,
institute is giving
yeah.
that support to them, and that's absolutely very good. That the initial rough part is being taken care by the institute. The IP is being supported by institute, that is intellectual property. That is a very important aspect of any technopreneurship. And yeah, students must take use of all these things and generate some good things out of the institutes.
Doctor, there is one question from, I think it's first year student. So she's writing, sir, considering a first year student, would you like to give an advice or suggestion that we should keep up going? So,
Okay, first year,
any,
that I think is the best time to get going, because you have still 4 years, a lot of time to change and make changes in your course corrections done. And still at the end of your college, you will either be a successful entrepreneur, or having a success, or a successfully failed entrepreneur who knows what not to do, or a successful mentor. This is all what you can get out of when you are leaving your college after 4 years. So this is the best time. This, you have all the rights to fail. Everyone at any age has the right to fail while doing something new. But when you are a first year student, you have a lot of cushion. Like you won't mess up with your career, you won't mess up with your anything, and any experience of entrepreneurship that you add along with your education, so that adds to your CV. And when you go for, in case unfortunately if you're not able to take your project to where you want to take it, and if you're able to still not able to do that, you still get a lot of experience which would be valued a lot in the market, and you would be getting a better placement opportunity than many of the students. So this is a great thing even if you fail. So first year students, they are at the safest point of their career to do anything, but yeah, start sincerely.
So, as Nicola, I want to add uh, answer to that question.
Yes, ma'am.
Once how to start dreaming and start observing. Most of the time, students are behind the marks. They just want the marks, not they look at the understanding or the observation. They
True.
need to look at that the society or what is going on around. Uh,
Yes.
has to be like they need to dream, observe, and
Yes.
explore. This passion we need to, by being a teacher, we need to create among the students, and students have to look around. It is not only my study, my home, that should not come. They have to
True.
observe, keep looking at the exploring things, and I have to something achieve in this society. That the dream has to come in each and every one. Then only all these things will happen.
Very correctly said, ma'am. Very correct.
Thank you, ma'am.
So if there is no question, then we can close up the session. So I request Dr. Prabha again
Yeah.
to
On behalf of the Medical Electronics Department of Ramya Institute of Technology, I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Pankaj for accepting our invite and share your experience with us and take us through the journey on how your innovation and how it's a very beautiful mix of you being a doctor and being also an entrepreneur. It's a wonderful thing which we had. It was a very lively session. Hope we will interact with you in future too. I
Thank
will
you.
not leave it at this point. Okay. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Prabha and Dr. Sweetie, for having me here, and all the audience, students, all the best for your future, and happy to share things in the future as well. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
thank you very much, Dr. Pankaj Prashar. Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank
Thank you
you.
everyone for joining the session.
Thank you.
We can leave now, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.